So I've been busy with college for a long time. It hasn't stopped me from playing games for you guys, but it has halted my progress in making more reviews for this channel. College may have been sucking up a lot of my spare time, but at the same time, it did put me in a lot of classes that I loved being in, like my Culture and History of Gaming class here at the University of Nebraska-Omaha, taught by an amazing teacher named Mr. Blackmore. And if you sir are watching, thank you for making a really fun class, and making it even better just by being the awesome person you are. This review is an adaptation of an assignment he made us do, so this review is for you, sir. I hope you watch and enjoy this. One show that I love with a passion is Kamen Rider. It's an amazing series that's going strong with its newest season, Kamen Rider Zio. And with the release of this new game, Kamen Rider Climax Scramble, and how big a fan I am of it, I think I should follow in the steps of Kamen Rider Zio and interact with the history of Kamen Rider, or more accurately, Kamen Rider games. So today, we're going to be looking at one of the earliest games I could find, Kamen Rider Club for the Nintendo Famicom. So this is Kamen Rider Club for the Famicom. From the looks of it, we can play as either Takeshi Hongo, Hayato Ichimonji, and Shiro Kazami. I'm gonna pick Rider number 1 since he is the original Kamen Rider after all. I can't wait to dive into this. I bet it's gonna be a beat 'em up like Double Dragon or Mighty Final Fight. I'm gonna be punching shocker goons left and right throughout the streets and wilderness of Japan. This is gonna be great. What? I'm not crazy, right? Why does it look like Kamen Riders in Candyland? This looks so out of place. This is what Rider 1 is experiencing. Then what are the other Riders dealing with? Well, Hayato seems to be in one of Shocker's bases, so at least he seems to be in the right place. And Shiro is where now? I have no idea where this is, but it already looks more fitting than friggin' Candyland. It's so weird. Riders 2 and V3 are in places you'd expect, but Rider 1's location is completely random. Why would they do this? On top of that, the art style and the music is ultimately forgettable for every Rider. Nothing about these locations are memorable. From the looks of it, this game is a platformer starring the Kamen Riders. I guess we should start this game by testing the controls. Whoops, guess I fell in the pit. Don't worry, I'll just jump out. It's not like it's E.T. for the Atari. Come on, Takeshi, just jump out of the pit already. Get out of the pit already! I honestly don't know how I'm supposed to get out of here. Whenever I jump, I'm locked in place and I can't seem to maneuver out of it. Before I decided to reset the game, I figured out what you're supposed to do. What you're supposed to do is hold on to the direction you're going to jump, mash the jump button, do this enough, and then the rider will latch onto the wall. Then you mash the jump button even more, and your rider will climb out of there. If you're already moving and then jump, you'll go in an arc like expected, much like Castlevania. But for situations like this is god-awful! This mechanic does have its benefits, as there are lots of jumps you cannot make normally, and do need to climb up. But did they have to screw up jumping controls? Mario had been around for a while at this point. Bandai should have just copied those jump controls, and then added the climb mechanic. And to make matters worse, the controls are not that responsive. There are lots of jumps which should theoretically be possible, but the movement and jumping controls are so bad, I cannot make half the jumps in this game. Also, pressing the B button allows you to punch straight down instead of ahead of you. Am I supposed to jump and punch my enemies? For what reason does this exist? Well, with enough time, I learned that the punch can help break open special boxes around the maps. These mostly contain money, sometimes your motorcycle, which insta-kills enemies, pinwheel? And also bombs, which will hurt you. So clearly the punch isn't used for combat. Well, that sucks. What's the point of being a Kamen Rider if I can't fight anyone? Well, it turns out this game isn't just a platformer, it's also an RPG. That means you can fight people and level up. But it's really messed up. To fight your enemies, you need to get near them. This is already a challenge with the terrible controls, but on top of that, the hit detection is awful, oftentimes forcing you to take a hit instead of starting combat. It's even worse when dealing with enemies who have ranged attacks, because those deal a lot of damage, and they're often really hard to avoid. Look at that! That goon just wiped out almost all my health, and then it decided, okay, I'll just initiate combat right now, because I'm a fucking dipshit. What the heck, Bandai? How hard would it have been to make your hit detection make sense? Once you finally get combat to work, you're presented with this screen. As you can see, this is a turn-based battle, like Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest. But unlike those games, this one plays like garbage. You have 4 attack options: attack, special, item, and run. Pressing attack will not just attack the enemy, it initiates a sumo wrestling kind of mini-game where you mash the attack button to push the opponent into a wall to deal damage. This goes on until one side is defeated, or you take too long and the battle minigame ends abruptly, forcing you to start all over. It's times like this I wish I had a turbo controller. Pressing special will pull off a special attack which will deal a lot of damage and more often than not kill your opponent. You can avoid combat by jumping over your enemy and punching them in the air, but this is difficult, and since this is an RPG, I'd assume we'd lose XP for doing this. So what happens when you level up? Well, your health and special meter go up naturally, but they don't get refilled. This may be common in other RPGs, but it's a pain here, because hospitals are expensive, and the only way to get money is by farming enemies. But farming enemies will result in losing health due to bad hit detection. So that means leveling up is almost impossible. The only bonus from leveling up is that when you fight, you'll knock your opponents farther back into the wall than you previously could. After my first victory, I continued on until I died, all because of that stupid frickin' goon. And now my rider gets his head squashed by a rock, and then is followed by Amazon Rider. This is the same for all death scenes. Your rider's head gets squashed, and they're followed by a fellow rider, like Super X and Stronger. But ex-Rider man. Another issue here is this! Look, it's my first battle as Rider 2, and this Amazon bug-looking dude just appeared, shot a laser at me, and then killed me dead. This is horrible! One thing about jumping I forgot to mention is that you can also bump your head into the ceiling and flatten your rider's head. Doing this will mess with the music, and I think it prevents you from battling enemies. I'm not too sure about that because enemy hit detection is already bullshit. It also prevents you from climbing walls, apparently. So make sure your head doesn't get squashed before you fall into a pit. I'm stuck. Please help. What? Is this a glitch? Am I breaking the game? What's going on? I don't think Rider 2 is supposed to fly like that. Throughout the levels, you'll find yen everywhere. From combat, breaking open boxes, you'll find money. And then you could use that money to buy items at the stores which are located in the Mario warp pipes. Glad to know of all the things they could have ripped from Mario, it was the warp pipes and not the controls. Items can only be used during battle, and since battles can be hard to start, I never figured out what any of these items do. Out of all the riders, I think I got the furthest in V3's first stage. I say I think because while the level never ended, I felt that I explored more of it than I did as the other riders. Despite potentially making it the farthest, the level never ended, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out what to do. Heck, I even found a locked room on the map, pulled a lever which opened it, entered a boss arena type of room, fought a guy who looked like a boss, and then nothing happened. No matter what I do, nothing happens. I thought I beat the boss, shouldn't that be it? I don't know, I'm stuck here forever climbing around for the rest of my life! I normally try to beat a game before I review it. That just wasn't possible with this game. It doesn't tell you your objective, it makes no sense, and even when I had my friend Quentin from KQ2H Productions 1 translate for me, I still couldn't make it much progress this game. It is bad! Fun fact, even Japanese review sites have labeled this game as shit. I am not joking about that. That is serious. Some could say I had my expectations too high, considering the fate of movie-turned games like Hook, Bill and Ted, Jaws, or practically anything made by LJN. But this is the same generation that gave us DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, Batman, and a lot of other great games based off shows and movies. Bandai, the same company who put out great NES games like Monster Party and the Dragon Ball Z games, also made this abomination. And you know what's worse? This game was planned to have an English release. It was going to be called Masked Riders and was shown off in an ad featuring other Bandai games like Monster Party. But it was never seen or even heard from ever again. And I think we know why it never happened. Because this game sucked balls! This game is a damn insult to the Kamen Rider name! How hard would it have been to just make a simple beat-em-up game? The name of Oma friggin' Zio, how do you frickin' do this? Kamen Rider isn't something hard to adapt into a video game. With how much action was in the show, a beat-em-up or fighting game should have been the first thing they attempted. Not whatever this is. My final rating for this game is a 0 out of 10. Yeah, this game is one of the worst things I've ever played, and this was a game about a franchise very close to my heart. How could you do this to me, Bandai? You're tearing me apart, Bandai! At least I know the franchise will eventually move on to much better games, which I really enjoy. However, it does suck to know that this franchise, which shouldn't have been hard to adapt to a video game, had a really rough start. Hey everyone, GamingNavi here. Thank y'all for watching this video and just watching me suffer through this hellspawn of a game. Please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, as well as sharing it around. It would really mean a lot to me. If you liked what you saw, please watch some of my other videos, like my top 10 Power Rangers for Battle of the Grid video, or gameplay stuff like my Earthbound glitch thing. Yeah, that was a very weird turnout. This is GamingNavi signing off, and I'll see y'all in my next review. Thank y'all for watching.